gave birth to NADCO, I was actually a member on that particular committee. And Mr. Speaker, I see a few things that stand out, and one I would like to speak to very quickly is the 2/3 gender rule. This has remained a vexing issue since the new constitution was promulgated, Mr. Speaker. It does not matter that many attempts, I believe up to 13, have been made to attempt to achieve the 2/3 gender. What matters is, why did it fail the first time, second time, all the way up to the 13th time? Maybe the kind of public participation that we allow to take place when it comes to this provision is not adequate or could be done in a better manner. Just like the majority of you who are privileged to come from houses where the majority are the female gender. Like, Mr. Speaker, most men, you are there, you are the only man heading the house, but there's a wife there, there's a daughter there, there are third phone, and so on. You always find that you are crowded. So we are very comfortable with handling issues of women. And we love them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we'll give it to them. But I want to challenge not the women folk, but the people who will benefit from the 2/3 gender rule. I would like them to allow us also to democratize the process of identifying beneficiaries. Mr. Speaker, I mean that in its current form, it's difficult to know how one senator nominated or one member of the National Assembly nominated found their way into these two houses. I've never understood how they manage. I was trying to have a small discussion with my young senator, Zena, on how they did, and she told me, go away. So I'm still waiting, Mr. Speaker, for the privilege of hearing from her how she made it. It is so difficult. I therefore propose that under the new structure, women who get nominated should not be nominated by political parties. They should be allowed to undergo a process of election that the voters shall be only women. Women of Kenya, if we have got 16 slots of senators to vote, then those names should be presented to the public, and then those 16 names should be voted for. The top 16, they cross the line and they become nominated. People living with disabilities. Again, I don't know how they get nominated. We should allow people living with disabilities to be the principal decision makers. They subject the beneficiaries to a vote. And finally, Mr. Speaker, on this particular point, the people who get through these special seats, the 47 women elected in the National Assembly, plus whatever number we shall add them, they should be allowed to run for that election only once. A woman MP representing a county should not be allowed to be re-elected more than once. They should learn the ropes in the first 5 years. At the end of it, they go for competitive seats. Similarly, people living with disabilities should serve for 5 years. After 5 years, they then face a competitive election. Why? Mr. Speaker, the spirit of nomination was not to create an opportunity for people to get freebies. It was an opportunity which was meant in the letter and spirit of this Constitution to allow, quote unquote, people with limited capacities to win an election to learn how the gurus like Raila Odinga, like Uhuru Kenyatta, like Musalia Mudavadi, like Boni Khalwale. And I say this because we are the guys who have won elections, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but in my case, 5 times. We are the gurus. So that they learn from us how we do it, and then they go and compete. Not to keep on hanging outside this door wanting to come here, one election after another one, that I want to benefit from nomination over and over again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the second point I want to speak to is that you have seen the wind behind the sails of wanting to see NADCO suddenly become strong at a time that the President and the former Prime Minister have created some camaraderie, Mr. Speaker. I am hoping that this newfound interest in making sure that NADCO goes through is not for purposes of serving the broad-based government. The broad-based government, just like the handshake government BBI that was there, it will go the way that government went. So we cannot afford a situation whereby we want to amend the Constitution so as either to massage the egos of the proponents of the broad-based government or to reward the beneficiaries of the broad-based government. Mr. Speaker, we are all men and women of this republic, and we hear both the normal talk and the talk in the grapevine, and these days, the talk on social media, which is part of our lives. I don't like what I'm hearing, Mr. Speaker. What I'm starting